Sri Ramakrishna taught 3 ways of relating to Kali. He loved the way of developing relationship with Kali as the Divine Mother. But there are 3 ways that he mentioned. The Divine Mother way is the most safe, the most natural, and the easiest in Kali Yuga. But what are these 2 other ways? What are the 3 ways in general of relating to Kali? To God as Shakti, as feminine. So the most dangerous, and when I say dangerous, I am referring to the easiest to fall off the path from, to not to be to lead yourself astray, and to fall into a kind of strange and possibly corrupt relationship with God and Kali. Easiest way to fall off of is relating to Kali as a consort, relating to God as you would a lover. Basically, think of knight and princess kind of relationship. The reason why this is called the path of the hero. The reason why it's the easiest to fall off this path is, how many of us can meet that level of both commitment and honor and dedication in multiple facets of life that the Arthurian knightly tales would have us believe that knights or heroes have, as far as their standard for honor, their standard for commitment, their standard of commitment to just one, knight and princess or knight and lady. Thinking of God as one's lady or one's kind of consort, princess. The serving God in that way and relating to God in that way is dangerous, because how many of us have our sexuality in check enough to where it's completely pure, to where it is not muddied by other commitments or wandering eye or a corrupt relationship to our own sexuality in any way, shape, or form? And how many of us are that dedicated to committing our mind and ourself to one ideal, being in love with that ideal, being in love with God in that way, but committing ourselves in that way as if God was our consort? How many of us can grow and meet that standard? Very few. Many will fall off. Many will have a strange sexual relationship with God, will not understand how to limit the ego in seeing God as a peer rather than God being one's consort in all the positive ways. There's great tendency towards ego and to thinking that you're equal to God before you've reached that level. So it's easy to fall off that path. It's easy to fall off the path of the hero in a number of different ways. The other one is the path of the handmaiden. To have a relationship with Kali, God, Shaktas, we Shaktas view the grander mystery and the grander truth behind everything as being ultimately feminine. So that's what we develop a relationship with God in the form of Shakti, the divine feminine, but as handmaiden. So this is more of a feminine way of relating to God. Feminine in the sense that you are very kind of reserved in a feminine way, and not casting your interests in the world in a number of different ways, not seeking any kind of sexual union, or pursuing aggressively any kind of sexual union, or kind of like in the world in any way being aggressive in the world, but just being a servant to God, to the Divine Mother as a handmaiden. This one is actually the hardest. It's not the most dangerous. It's not the way of the hero, which is the most dangerous. The way of the handmaiden is the hardest, because it requires you to view God as a kind of demanding master, a kind of very strict master, a strict kind of queen or king that you are serving. And causing yourself to keep yourself in line so much with your pujas, with your rituals, with your mantra, with your understanding of God, with how you conduct yourself in the world, holding yourself to the straight and narrow path of being a handmaiden, in essence, of being cowed, of being humble to the extreme. Staying on that path, it's not a dangerous path. It's just very, very hard to relate to God in that way. When people try to force humility onto other people and say, bow down before God, or you're going to go to hell, it is beg for mercy. That's a corruption of the way of the handmaiden, of the servant of God. That's bringing in fear. Fear doesn't necessarily, strict doesn't have to be fear. Strict is where we get the hellfire preachers, and then that's trying to follow the path of the handmaiden but messing it up. It's not about fear, but it's about keeping yourself very strictly to certain regimens, to meditation, to puja, to mantra, to ideas, to study, keeping yourself right on the straight and narrow, being very strict with yourself. You can relate to Kali, you can relate to God in that way, but it's just very, very difficult to relate to God as a strict regimen of tasks. And really, you're holding yourself to these standards with all three of these. So, the third way, and the way that Sri Ramakrishna kind of brought to the world, no avatar had brought this to the world before, at least not within 100,000 years or something like that. But he brought, at a time, late 1800s, we're at a time where we were kind of ready to think of God as mother, to relate to God as mother, to worship God as mother. Slowly working our way out of dogmatism, the Enlightenment, the different ideas about God, meeting of religions, that became more and more of a thing. And it was time for God to introduce herself as mother, because we could finally take it, we could finally understand, and we were finally open enough to that, because we're at an ascending age, Dwapara Yuga. We're ascending, so we're starting to understand and be able to understand how we should relate to God, and in the best ways. So Sri Ramakrishna came and taught that we can worship God as mother. Now, this is the safest and most natural, kind of easiest way, and we're still so we're in Dwapara Yuga according to Paramahansa Yogananda and his lineage, but we're in Kali Yuga according to most other lineages. But I think it's a combination of both. We're in Kali Yuga, a big yuga, but there's a whole bunch of little yugas within the yuga. And we're coming out of a smaller Kali Yuga, and we're in Dwapara Yuga. So now we're once again ready to become more spiritually mature. Swami Vivekananda, after Ramakrishna, Vivekananda brought yoga to the West, to the United States. But regardless, I'm getting off track. We're ready to worship God as mother, as a truer form of God, a truer essence of the source behind it all. But if we worship God as mother, then that's a very warm relationship. There's a level of warmth there that doesn't quite exist in the other two ways, or in most other religions. There's a level of warmth. There's a level of familiarity, of God, of us actually being the children of God. God our mother, and God being warm enough to relate to us in that way. Us not being unworthy, not being aloof like that of a masculine, fatherly God, but being close as one is to their mother. And you can make demands of your mother. You can, say, why haven't I gotten this yet? Or why haven't you shown me why haven't you revealed yourself to me? Why haven't I heard your voice? Why isn't my meditation deeper yet? But when you're making all these demands of God, you're talking to God on a personal level. And here's the important part. While you're making all these demands and relating to God in this very personal way, even a very human way, you never go to the extreme of not loving your mother, do you? Or actually getting to the extreme of annoyance, of frustration, of anger, to the extent that you wouldn't renounce your mother, would you? So you don't go to the extreme of renouncing God, Kali, the Divine Mother. You don't go to that extreme and renounce but you can share your frustration. You can relate to God in a very personable way, as a child would to their mother. And you'll find that when this warmth and personalness of God, when that connection to God, the Divine Mother, occurs within you, you feel it more. God's not aloof, like I said, but also it's easier for you to constantly think about God. It's easier for you to open your heart and not think about God just as something in these books or an idea that you'll never be close to because you're not as smart as all that, or you're not a priest, or you're not really sure how God works. This God is the Divine Mother. This is a God that isn't revealed through Scripture, isn't revealed through the intellect, isn't revealed through learning books or listening to other people talk about God. This is opening your heart to a more personal relationship to God as a Divine Mother Kali. And this is a way of relating to God that's all pure emotions, thinking of God as Mother. And that's the easier way to tap into pure emotions and pure relationship than the handmaiden or the hero. It's easier to open the heart, and so much of us relating to God is figuring out how to open our heart, relating to God in a way, understanding God in a way that allows us to open up our heart. And worshiping God as a Divine Mother is a great way to do that. And you think of your relationship to your mother, or let's say you had a bad mother. Think of the best relationship that a child can have with their mother, and form your understanding, your relationship, how you speak to God around that kind of orientation. Safest, easiest, and most natural is what Sri Ramakrishna said. And I think that we've finally reached a point where more people can do that, and more people can understand that. In a way, in an ascending time, we're closer to God, and we're ready for that closeness. So related to God as a Divine Mother is the path that Sri Ramakrishna recommended, and this is the path out of the three ways of relating to God that is the most natural. And what's most natural for humans is best, especially in a time where we're still not sure of ourselves. We're not sure of the world, and we're not sure of just what this soul thing is and the truth behind it all. We're more open, but there's not as much certainty. We're coming out of religious dogma, out of religious restrictions, out of God being in the church and away from us, away from our hearts, and somewhere else in heaven, God right here as Mother. This is the time to start becoming committed in a very personal way. At any rate, I hope this was interesting. This has been 3 ways of relating to the Divine Mother Kali. I hope that you found this useful. Like this video, it really helps out the channel. Feel free to leave a comment. That also helps out the channel, and feel free to share this wherever you like. At any rate, thank you very much for watching Jai Ma, and I hope all of you have a wonderful day.